fam, what's up? I want to do a quick vid on vinyl records. They've made this huge resurgence in the last few years, and lots of people are back into vinyl, which is cool. I'm not a big collector, like I haven't bought a record in 15 years, but back when I was a kid, even at the age of 4 or 5, save up every dime I could and go to the used record bins in the music stores, and I was buying the music that kind of helped make who I am, or what kind of music I'm into. Also, my mother's vinyl collection. She had all the old British invasion music, some of the music from the mid 60s, late 60s, even early 60s. All that made a big difference in the music I love, and it's nothing far out. It's mostly mainstream, but it is a little eclectic. Thought I'd share some of my favorite vinyl. I just grabbed a stack of stuff off my favorite vinyl shelf and brought it in to talk about a little bit. And hey, share yours with me. Comment below. Tell me what your favorite records were. The records you got as a kid that may have molded your ear a little bit, that made you get into a certain thing or have an impact on the music you listen to or perform today. They're in no particular order. I'm just going to start grabbing some albums and we'll talk about them right quick. First up, okay, this is on True Joy, which is a label out of South Carolina, run by Mr. Hoyt Sullivan. It's by a group out of Belton, South Carolina. This is traditional black gospel from the 1970s called the Burns Brothers. 'Tis So Sweet to Trust in Jesus, one of my favorite gospel records by the Burns Brothers on True Joy, which is a division of HSE Enterprises, the Hoyt Sullivan label. Awesome record. And you'll notice that I'm really into gospel. I'm really into a lot of things. Here's another one, the Dixie Hummingbird 60th anniversary record. And there's a cool picture on the front there of all the birds, and Howard's got his big Gibson guitar. But anyway, this was their 60th anniversary album. As far as I can remember on this record, yeah, Beachy was still alive. Paul Owens was singing with the group then. Here's one on Nashboro, which was a gospel label out of Nashville, Tennessee, Nashboro Excello. Tommy Ellison and the Five Singing Stars. I love Tommy. He took a lot of R&B songs and converted them to gospel. This album, I Want to Be Loved, it's also got on it, I'm Guilty of Loving God. And that's Tommy and the guys. And my good friends Sam and Big O, still alive and doing well. Sam's had some health issues, but doing well. Sam was the guitarist at the time, and he was with the Singing Stars for many years. I think he quit playing about a year or so ago. Awesome group. Let's see. Okay. Bill Cosby. This is a great album, especially the liner notes. They've got a lot of drink recipes. Ventures, the Hawaii Five-0 album. I've got 7, 8 Ventures albums. Love the Ventures. You get into guitar, of course they're the kings of surf guitar, and they've always got beautiful girls on the cover of the albums. I can put a Ventures album on, just let it play. Then, my favorite blues musician, my favorite king of the blues, Albert King. This is the Years Gone By album. That's a picture of him playing at the Fillmore West. Years Gone By has one of my favorite songs on it, Drowning on Dry Land, Parts 1 and 2. It's also got The Sky is Crying on it, and Killing Floor, and a lot of other cool songs, some instrumentals, but got to have some Albert King in your collection. Another thing I want to say is these records are all old. These aren't repressings. These aren't new vinyl. This is stuff I've had for most of my life. Jay Blackfoot, Taxi, Take Me to the Other Side of Town. Jay's years after he left the Soul Children were awesome, his solo years. What else we got? I'm a child of the 80s. Got Born to Run. Clarence blowing on the saxophone. Great album. Everybody knows Springsteen. Early, I was like 5, 6 years old. I got Trey Hombres by ZZ Top. And of course, it's got Waiting for the Bus. Jesus Just Left Chicago. LaGrange is on it. Yeah, good stuff. That Texas White Boy Blues. And on the inside, you got this Tex-Mex food layout to this day. Makes me absolutely starving when I look at it. Simple way to get into the band is just to buy the best of the band. Gotta have some Levon. Merle and the Strangers take a lot of pride and What I Am. Pictures on the back of Merle fishing, which was his favorite thing to do. Clapton, Backless. Oh, I've got every Clapton album, so who knows what. Promises is on this one. Tulsa Time's on this one. But people say his 70s output's no good. There's my raspberry for people that say that. Group out of Georgia, technically out of South Carolina, the lead singer and guitarist anyways, the late great Drew Lombard. They were on the Capricorn label, never got the kind of exposure they deserved. Grinder Switch. Go get you a Grinder Switch record if you're into some southern rock and great slide guitar. Elvis Presley's last studio album, released after his death, Moody Blue. It's great stuff. People will buy this and they'll see blue vinyl and they'll think, oh, this is a collector's item. Actually, the one on black vinyl, which they only made very few of, is the collector's item. Blue vinyl was the standard for this album. Here's a guy somewhat controversial. Look, I got him to sign this one. David Allen Coe. This album is called Human Emotions, Happy Side, Suicide. It's my favorite Coe record because the poetry and the powerful emotion, believe it or not, he invokes in the songs on this album, killer. Plus, if you look close, he's playing a Grammer guitar because you can see the railroad tracks up and down the neck of it. He's playing a Grammer guitar on that photo. Here's one I've had forever, Greg Allman, Laid Back. Greg's songwriting as a solo artist is absolutely amazing. Got to check out some solo Greg Allman. One I've had all my life. This has been in the stereo, or was in the stereo at my parents' home. Best of Tommy and the Shondells. Tommy James looking like a freak on the back in New York at the studio. But it's the best of stuff. So it's got Mirage and Crystal Blue Persuasion. Does not have Dragging the Line on it. I think it came out before Dragging the Line was even recorded. Three Dog Night, the Harmony album. Cool record. Yeah, they get the jokes, the 70s jokes. They're like Chicago or something. But it's got Old Fashioned Love Song on it. And I think Never Been to Spain's on this one. It's a good record to have. Must have for country fans. Johnny at San Quentin. Gotta have Johnny Cash live at San Quentin. Carl Perkins, of course, playing all the lead guitar on this one, along with Johnny and June and the band. And because I live in the South, and when you live in the South, especially the Southeast, it's kind of a prerequisite. It's kind of no option. You have to have pronounced. There's Leonard Skinner pronounced. Mine's Beat All the Snot, because as a kid, I played the ever-loving heck out of it. I was a huge Skinner fan as a kid, but you got to have pronounced. Here is an old record on the Skylight label. It's the Blackwood Brothers, early Blackwoods. Notice J.D. Sumner up here is singing bass along with James and his brothers. Blackwood Brothers on Skylight, a division of RCA at the time. Brock Spear actually produced this record. It is old and it's got some great gospel music on it. The closer you get, the further I fall. Gotta have some Alabama in the collection. One of my favorite songs is funky. It's called Tell Me Something Good. It's on the album Rufusized by Rufus. It's a great, great album. You know what? I lied to you. Stop on by. Right is Right is on this album. I'm a Woman. Tell Me Something Good's not on this one. Grabbed the wrong one at the house, I guess. Now, for those that sing karaoke and like to sing along with the track because your voice isn't so good, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It made millions for Milli Vanilli. Killer record on Monument. The Man and His Wife. Chris Christopherson. Got him and Rita on the front. Chris and Rita. And the album, Jesus Was a Capricorn. The song is excellent. It pokes fun at those that poke fun at religion. It's also got Help Me, the Larry Gatlin song. Larry sings with Chris on this. Probably one of the first albums to feature Larry Gatlin. It was before the Gatlin brothers. Why Me, Lord. is on this album. I think that's what made this album. This album won a lot of awards. If you're going to have any Waylon Jennings album, I suggest the first one to get is the Greatest Hits. It's textured like brown leather. On the Gem record label out of Shreveport, Louisiana, is Mr. Televangelist himself, Jimmy Swaggart, one heck of a piano player. One of his early albums from the late 1960s, nice blue suit, beautiful music. So I told you I'm into some weird stuff. Here's a classic, The Amazing Rhythm Aces. Russell Smith and his Rhythm Aces are a band if you don't know about, you better get into. They're freaking awesome. This is the album that had Third Rate Romance on it, and Amazing Grace used to be her favorite song. Here's one of the later Stax releases after they'd moved out west, but it's got some phenomenal scoring and music on it. Gotta have it in your soul collection. Isaac Hayes, Black Moses. Cameo, Wired Up. Yes, I like funk. Great gospel album. Just recently been re-released, I think, and it's Aretha. It's got the Franklin Sisters. It's got Reverend Jesse Jackson on it. Mavis Staples is highlighted on it. Jasper Williams of Atlanta is on it, as well as the Mighty Mighty Clouds of Joy. One Lord, One Faith, One Baptism. A great Aretha record to have. J.D. and the Stamps, pre-Elvis. Love some J.D. Sumner. The Genius at Work, Prince, his very first album. He played all the instruments on this album. He's butt naked riding a horse, or a unicorn. Butt naked riding a horse on the back. I guess this is my favorite Creedence Clearwater Revival albums. Willie and the Po' Boys. Great record. You got Down on the Corner, Came Out of the Sky, Cottonfield. I could play the Fortunate Sons on it, Midnight Specials on it. I play the album over and over, and I have been since I was about 3 years old. Another prerequisite for living in the South, you got to have some Ricky Medlock and Blackfoot. This is Blackfoot Strikes. So it's got Train, Train, and Highway Song on it. Another Cosby record, great for drink recipes. The great Okie and artist on Leon Russell's Shelter Records. Phenomenal writer, great guitar player, cool singer, Mr. J.J. Cale. If you don't know about J.J., get into J.J. Cale. This is the Okie album. It's got a lot of great music on it. And it's got the Same Old Blues on it, which has been recorded by a bunch of other people. Here's another guy you need to get into, Doug Somm, the Sir Doug Quintet. Everybody's got to have a Sir Doug Quintet song, album. Of course, he went on to a solo career, and then the Texas Tornadoes was his last group before he passed away. Right before the man from Memphis, they call it, well, ended up in Memphis, the Blues Boy, before he left the Chitlin circuit and started playing to mostly white folks, he was already on MCA, and he recorded live at the Regal. This is a reissue from 1971. B.B. King live at the Regal, one of the best live blues albums ever, and I'm not even the world's biggest B.B. fan. A favorite Waylon Jennings record, it's only rock and roll. It's got cool songs on it. It's got Mental Revenge, which is the great old Mel Tillis song. It's got lots of cool stuff, and then a medley of hits that were his big hits, and only rock and roll. Living Legends, Died and Breed, great album. George and the Destroyers, got to have some George Thorogood in the collection no matter what. Whispering Bill, Still, this is the original on Decca. After all this time, still, you're still on my mind. Ready for some funk? Lakeside, whoops, upside down. Your Wish is My Command. This is the album with Fantastic Voyage on it. Here's something interesting. It's a fiddler, not just any fiddler. It's the fiddler in Porter Wagner's band. It's Mac McGaha, not Porter called him McGeehee or something like that. He's from Honeypath, South Carolina, or was. and he's one of the greatest fiddle players. This was his solo record produced by Porter Wagner. Let's see what else we got here. More great traditional black gospel. One of my favorites is a double album. Willie Neal Johnson, the country boy, returned to Tyler, Texas to record in his home church. The Country Boy Comes Home. It's on Malaco. Came out in '92. It's a double album. It is awesome. Got another J.J. Cale record. It's got the raccoon on the front, Naturally. And on this record, it's got the legendary song, Call Me the Breeze. It's got Clyde on it, Crazy Mama. It's After Midnight that Clapton redid. Bad record right here. Gotta have it. J.J. Cale, Naturally. Then, my favorite male blues vocalist, some of his best work was his later work, his work on Malaco, his Bobby Blue Bland. One of the Malaco albums, Midnight Run. I don't have a particular Bobby Bland favorite album. I love them all. This one's got his version of Starting All Over Again on it. It's great. Speaking of Leon Russell, how about when Leon decided to become a country singer and called himself Hank Wilson? There's Hank Wilson's back, and on the front you can see Hank Wilson's back. Great country songs all over this record. It was one of his Shelter record releases. And in fact, him and Billy Bird on the back. Billy Bird, original guitarist for Ernest Tubb. Lots of Nashville stars performing with him on that. Here's a cool gospel record. This is a group out of Greenville, South Carolina. They're called the Powerful Singing Tornadoes. This was a big, huge selling album for them in the late 80s called Put God First in Your Life. 1990, I think it came out. And the reason I love it so much, it was the first album that the song Put God First I played along with, and I got the song down note for note. Love this record. Last but not least in my list, and these aren't like all my favorite records, I just grabbed a handful to share with you. We've got Commander Cody and the Lost Planet Airmen, and it's one of their truck driving songs. Hot Licks, Cold Steel, and Truckers' favorites, and it's all truck driving songs by Commander Cody and the Lost Planet Airmen. Of course, Bill Kirchen, lead guitarist and vocalist, one of the kings of the Telecaster. Buffalo Bruce Barlow singing on it. Billy C., this is a great record. If you're not into the group, then you need to check out Commander Cody and the Lost Planet Airmen. It's got Truck Stop Rock, Truck Driving Man, Rip It Up, all those old truck driving songs with Bill Kirchen just tearing the Telecaster up. So I've shared some vinyl with you, and I hope you enjoyed it. Comment below and share some ideas that you have about vinyl. What have you got? What did you listen to as a kid? What influenced you? I mean, that's an eclectic mix of country and rock and gospel and pop and soul, and that's just a sample of the kind of stuff I grew up listening to the first 20 years of my life that made me love all the music that I love today. And I want you to share with me some of your favorites. Put them in the comments. Subscribe, like, do all that good stuff. I sure need subscribers, that's for sure. We'll catch you next time on 6 Greasy Strings. Remember, what holds us together are those 6 greasy strings.